Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. I am really glad that you stopped by today because I dipped my toes into coral. One of the colors that we talked about when Dior launched their Rosy Glows was we had the pink lilac. Then we had the bronze, which I did a whole video on doing bronze without the bronze. And now we're going to do my take on coral. And although they're calling it Poppy Coral, I did go into Sephora to swatch it. And actually the color is very, very orange. And it's not very coral. But when I came home, I pulled out some of my favorite things that do work for me with coral because I am definitely one of those people that is afraid of orange. I don't want to turn orange. I don't want my hair to be orange. I don't want my skin to turn orange. But I did find some really great things in my stash, only shopping my stash for this one, and put together a look with Monochromatic Coral with a little side of colors that worked for me. And so I'm going to show you how to rework coral to make it work for you. It's looking a little less corally right now to me. Add a little more. The Lisa Eldridge lip was my inspiration. And then Esum kind of took the reins. And then Patrick Ta brought it home. And some RMS. We've got some Chanel that we brought into it. A little Victoria Beckham. So if you'd like to see how I got this look, stick around. We're going to talk about how we can bend trends and make the colors work for us if we want to try to do the new thing that's in style. Not that coral isn't always in style every single summer. Coral. And I can tell you this because there weren't as many choices in the coral arena at one time. But now there's a lot of different nuances and you can make those work to your advantage. And I'm going to show you how. So stick around. Here we go. I am hit with the same thing that hits me every single spring, summer. And that is the coral invasion. What do I mean? Every year when they talk about spring colors, they go through the pastels usually. They kind of like pick one out that's sort of big. This year we're going with the sea foam and the lavender. And when the summer comes out, they bring something big. And this year, Dior brought 3 things. Number 1, lavender, lilac. That pink lilac-y color that we did, that for most people, they can kind of move into the different cooler, warmer parts of lilac. This year was a little bit different. I want to show you what Dior brought us. So we have the pink lilac. Then we have Poppy Coral, which is different from the normal orange color that they usually do in that it's even more orange. And then we had the bronze color, and I had a chance to do a bronze video, but every time I'm hit with the coral, it just freaks me out. It's like summer comes and I'm a person who's comfortable in that mauve, plum, cool tone space. And when they bring in the coral, I just start panicking because it can look really, really bad next to my skin tone. So we're going to talk about how you can incorporate this color, how you can make it work for you. I have a lot of products in here that I've collected over the years that have worked for me and some that haven't. We're going to talk about those and we're going to jump into a really fun look that we can make work for us. We're going to bend the trend and we are going to take this color and own it. All right. So I think there's something about the color orange that we all struggle with because we say like we don't want our hair to be orange. We don't want our skin to be orange. our bronzers to be too orange. But then coral comes along and everybody's supposed to embrace it. Wow, I have a huge box of stuff here that I actually didn't think that I had that much, but I actually do. And I'm not saying all of these things are fantastic. So the poppy color that they're doing this year is very much like this. I'm going to put some of this on my hand. It's about like this. This is sort of basically the orange color that I saw. And next to my skin, it's a scary color, truly. And I actually went and I swatched it in store, and it's even more opaque than that, and even more orange. Like, it isn't even the kind where you could say, well, there's a little bit of a pink color in there, and so I can make it work. No, there was nothing about the color that wasn't poppin' orange, it could have been called, instead of poppy coral. But I started to go through my collection, and actually I have some things that I really like that I've collected over the years, and I think that some of these can work. Let me show you what I mean. If we are going to use this, the other color I think that really sort of embodied what I saw was something like that. That's basically the color of the poppy that they're showing. And I don't find this to be coral. I just find this to be very orange. And it really was this orange. And I kept looking at it, and I'm so pink that things turn orange on me as it is. And I want to be able to take this color and I want to be able to make it mine, but this is not ever going to work for me. However, there are corals that lean different directions. And this one is going to, that's it, kind of washed out in this color. And we're getting a little bit closer now to something that my complexion can handle. We're going to keep this on my hand just for keeping us in the spirit of poppy coral. I think that we're going to start with eyes. I'm even going to hold this up here. I mean, there was just no way that I was picking it up because there was no way to make it work. There was no putting it on lightly or making it fade out. This is what we were working with. And, you know, I think sometimes when we have a trend, like we've talked about this before, like you really don't want to spend your money on that. You want to use like inexpensive things that can bridge that gap for you. So we're going to take a look at some of the things that I have collected over the year and that I own that we can make work that will give the poppy coral feel without just showing orange. They can call it poppy coral. It's poppin' orange. Trust me. Let's start with something that came out this year. So if you haven't seen my video yet, this is the coral, the light coral from Chanel that they just came out with for summer. And this coral definitely isn't bright orange. It's a very soft color. And I actually have a few blushes that are like this, that sort of show you a little bit of the rosier side of coral, like even something like this. This is Mai Tai from RMS. You're going to start to see that some of these corals are going to have a little bit more pink in them, that even against my skin tone are still very coral, but they're not orange. I think the first time I realized that I could put on any kind of orangey blush, it was with Phytosurgence. And I think the reason why I can do it is because the colors that they've developed are they morph on people's skin. Like they somehow find a way to make a color that's going to be agreeable for everybody. Now this is Inferno, and that's what Inferno looks like over here. And this is not obviously an orange color, but it is in the orange family. Then we have Smolder, and you will see that this one definitely starts making kind of a burnt peach color. So while orange scares me, coral doesn't have to, because I have come to find that there are so many shades of coral that have a stronger pink tone. And with those, we're able to make these ours. We're going to be using sheer colors that let our skin show through. We're going to be kind of coordinating with some pinky corals. And even though it's not this bright orange that everybody's doing, we're in the spirit. You know, coral's such a fun summer color. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to start where I never start, and it's with some lips because I want to show them to you. There's a couple colors that Lisa Eldridge has put out over the years, and this one is called Dance Card. And this is a very beautiful pinky coral that coordinates beautifully with one of my favorite glosses, which is her Go Lightly, After High Go Lightly, that we have all grown to love. And you're starting to see that we're getting sort of into a pinky coral that's more wearable, and also that's sheer, where our skin can show through. Then I also have a lipstick from Hermes that's a very sheer coral with some shimmer. This is another great way to make the trend bend by putting some shimmer into something so that you have like a touch of that color, but it can go over something else that is working for you. Then we have a Victoria Beckham. I'm going to have to look up what color this is because all of those little tags fall off. I think it's called like Picante, but that might be the darker one. So don't quote me on that, but I will put it up here. And we're getting a much softer kind of tone. So a far cry from this, but we're getting into the spirit of it, right? We're finding a place to be. One of my favorite inexpensive purchases from Kosas is this color called Skinny Dip. And it's a really sheer, beautiful coral color that I think is very accessible to everybody because you can see the color of your lips through it. Easy to get because it's at Sephora. It's a thought. Another way to pull in some corally color is with a lot of shimmer. And these Kaja eyeshadows, this one is called Orange Blossom. This has some really beautiful sparkle. I'm not going to use the brown one, but there's two of them here that have a real coral kind of a feel. Just sort of make it like a little bit more kind of golden rather than just orange. There are some blushes from RMS also that give us more of that pinky coral. This one is called Bohemian Girl. And that one really starts to like get me excited because something like that, I feel like I can start to pull off, even though it's warm It's still coral, but it's like moving away from the crazy, let me get you in a little closer, colors I think that sometimes we see. This is another corally color that they've put out. And this one doesn't lean as pink, but it definitely has some. And I'm looking at these in the mirror while you guys look at them right over here on the monitor, but I'm starting to see that I can really try to make this work. A few more. Let's get the wash off because we just are going to be like all the way up my arm pretty soon. Patrick Ta came out with these blushes. This is called She's the Moment. And I think something like this really starts to like translate for me to a place that I can be, because it's throwing a lot more of that pinky color into it. We also have some really pretty blushes from Givenchy, and because these are able to be sheared out, I can wear this kind of a color on my cheek. You can also use a lip color on your cheek. Everything is very monochromatic right now, and I feel like it's the most modern way to wear color. And what we're going to do is we're just going to be really careful about what color that is. Anything? Yes. Let me show you. You can also go a little bit lighter by going into a peachy color to kind of bridge that nice orange to pink gap. This one's from Clay to Pop. This is number 3. Very peachy. You can see this one has more pink. This one has definitely more of the orangey tone. Even something like this, it's a little bit darker than like what we're talking about, but I'm going to keep it in mind. I've got some highlighters here. I want to take a look at these Esum colors. You see this row right here. These are definitely coral, but some of the corals are leaning more pink, which will be much easier for me to wear than, say, that top row. So I think you have to take a look at the color that they're talking about, which is basically, they called it Poppy Coral, but it's literally bright orange. And I feel like you can find tones that you can wear and that look pretty. And we're going to start with lips. I want to put on a lip liner. We're going to use, where did I put? It's the number 1 from Victoria Beckham. And all this is going to do is just give us a little touch of that peachy color that we're going for. In looking at these colors, something that I know is that this one tends to pull more pink, which I am going to start with here. Here's the coordinating lipstick. This one's called Dance Card. And then this is the gloss called Go Lightly, after Holly Golightly. Now this is decidedly coral without being super orange. See that? Now that we have this color, let's bring some of this into the cheeks. Take some of this color. This is from Patrick Ta, and he's given us a cream and a powder. And you can see that it's going to pull a little bit more pink on me, which is what we want. I'm going to start with a little bit of the cream, and just to get an idea. The nice thing about these blushes is that you are in control of how much product you're going to be using. He likes you to start with the powder. I did put a little bit of the cream first because I like to see what's going to happen with that color once it's on. And as you can see, this is definitely pulling in more of the pinky coral land, not the orangey coral land. Put a little bit of this up here. And suddenly, we see where this could start working. And we're working backwards because it's easier to see if a color is going to work when you're working with a lip. Easier to take on and off. Then to add a little bit of the cheek, and I haven't added a lot of it. And now we need an eye that's going to be monochromatic with this. Now, I could go into the Chanel. Let's see how much more peachy that is than where we're going right now. We're trying to show coral without there being an overwhelming amount of orange. And in this Esum palette, we're going to go for that bottom color over here and maybe a little bit of this and add some of the shimmer from our Kaja. These are very inexpensive, easy to travel with, and a great way to pull the color into a look. So we're going to grab a brush, and I do have primer on here already. I want to start by putting this color, the first one, this one right here, just on my lid, because I just want to see how this is looking with the lip. And it's pulling nicely pink, pinky coral, rather than that orange tone. I'm just putting a very small amount of this onto my lid. Our accent is going to be more of this really nice, deeper coral. And I want to put this up into here. Again, we're working with this monochromatic look. What I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit deeper of a color over here. What I love about these shadows is that because they're matte, there's something about them that's like a little bit more understated. And when you start going into like really shimmery colors, and I feel like this is a look that we're going to add the kind of shimmer to that we want to, but we want to see what this is going to look like really, really at this color as it goes on. Now I'm mixing the two colors together, and I'm just going over that little fake crease that we've got going here. And we want to make sure that we're staying in this kind of a family because this is working for us. So there's even like another pink in here, and I don't want to get it too pink because I want to keep the spirit of the coral going. But I just want to add enough of this color to make the other color work. And I'm just patting this. So I'm too lazy to switch brushes. But really, because I want to keep blending for just a very soft monochromatic look. But what we need to do is make sure that we are over the fold. And I'm going to pull this out. When your eyes open all the way, you need to be able to see that color popping out over here. So looking straight into a mirror is going to help you do that. Sometimes I can like lean back and then kind of lean down. But you can see that we're getting there. The other thing that you can always do, because a powder is a powder is a powder, if this blush worked for us, there's no reason why you can't put some of this on your eyes. So you could take a little bit of it, just pat it. Because the more places that you have a color, like the same color, the more put together your look is. Now we're going to add a little shimmer because we haven't added any yet. And I want to take a look at those Kajas again. These little bentos are so nice for travel. You wind up getting 3 eyeshadows in these. And sometimes they're sparkly, sometimes they're matte, and sometimes you get a combination. This one you get 3 sparkles, but this one is more of the brown tones, which is not what we're looking for. We really want to like hit it with something that's going to set this off. Let's take a look at these two. That's the sparkles. And when I look at these, I really feel like that deeper color has like a more orange base, and the other one next to it has more of a gold base. So I'm going to pull out this Tom Ford palette called Golden Hour. And I always feel like these look very coral, but they really don't. Not when you're getting them over here next to this. Possibly we could do the top one. So it does have like a little bit more of that pinky tone. It kind of goes with that. Let's try this and see if this is going to do it for us, because this is not glitter, this is shimmer. And I want to just put this gently over my mobile lid. And it does really catch the light in a very corally kind of way. I'm going to go back into our Esum palette now. We're just going to make sure that we're nicely defined. And pulled out. Because we're drawing on more of this pinky tone, it still reads very coral. Doesn't read orange. I'm going to put a stripe of what this looked like, because it looked just like Fever. That was Poppy Coral. However, there's another color here called Roller Skate. And this is another Victoria Beckham. And this has that coral look, but it pulls more pink. So it's not just an orangey coral, it's a pinky coral. And that is something that we can pull off. And you have to play with these and see what's going to go with your skin tone. I mean, there are some people who can wear orange like nobody's business. For me, it really cannot. I just really cannot. It makes me just not look. It's not native to my skin at all to be going into this kind of a color. But this pinky coral is, and I'm really enjoying it. Let's put a little sparkle in the center of our lid. I'm going to take the second one because the shadow on the bottom underneath this has a little bit more of that orangey tone to just bring a little bit into this look. And by doing that, we are able to blend it into the look. What I want to do is I want to get the mascara on quickly and do like an underneath the lashes thing. Because I really don't want to look like a pumpkin, I actually am going to use a gray eyeliner. I want to try to keep this looking as soft as we can because we have such a look. Okay, so I'm going to take my gray liner and I'm going to tightline heavily on the outside. It just isn't as harsh as black. And I feel like it's like Halloween, which is the last thing I want. We're going to get some vast lash on it. A really nice dramatic lash. Love this. Best applicator. I'm just going to slowly link into it and get a nice fanned out lash. And I want to make sure that I'm getting nice separation. Such a summery look that I just love. Now, Victoria Beckham, let me take some of this off my hands before I destroy my sweatshirt, which I am in a sweatshirt right now, because I wanted to wear something that was completely plain that wouldn't take over any other color. So I wanted it to be as close to my skin tone as possible, and I think I've done okay with that. Okay, take an orange shower later. So we've got mascara on now. She is coming out with a bright white matte liner. We're going to be seeing a lot of that this summer. It reminds me of when we were growing up and we would wear the light blue and then we would do like the white liner on the inside. I don't have white right now, but I do have like a creamy color. So we're going to use that instead just to brighten up the eye. And this just isn't as harsh as a white. Now you're going to get probably a little bit of transfer from the liner that you put on, which I don't mind. I feel like it makes this part like more wearable. But I think in the summertime, the white will be really pretty. And you can kind of see how you sort of get that. So you get that like brightening effect, which is so nice and so pretty. Now remember, if you don't have any shadows that have these colors, use a blush. I'm all for it. This one's a little bit more orange. This one is a little bit more in that same wheelhouse that we were. And this is going to add a little bit of shimmer to it. And I can do that coming out over here. And I think that's a really pretty frosty look. Very 60s, which is like what this is reminding me of. But blushes work on, it's the same thing as powder. So you can get this really pretty coral look that doesn't read this. But without this, when you don't see this, it's very coral. We're going to take a little bit of this powder. I want to put a little bit of highlighter on. I'm going to show you a couple colors that I have here. One is called Dragee, and that just gives like a really nice little hint of a corally orange. And then the other one that I have is called Insoleil, which is actually probably more bronzy. So we're going to go with Dragee. We also need to look at the Victoria Beckham one, Amber. That's going to be the wrong tone. I think we're going to put a little bit of Dragee on because this is accessible to everybody right now. It's still available. It matches a lot of things. If you have mermaid, it would probably work also. I'm just going to pat this on just to give us a little bit of luminosity more than anything, just to kind of bring that back to life. And you can also do that when you're using the Patrick Ta. He likes you to go back on top with the cream. So if you're needing some luminosity here, these are fantastic. You can use the powders, you can use the creams, you can use any of them. And you can see that because of the lip that we were able to find, this really contrasts well with it. And we were able to pull in more of that pinky coral with that middle row. We were able to get a monochromatic look that doesn't read orange. And I think I want to go underneath with a little bit of color. This is just like those little finishing touches that you like want to put on. I think I might actually go for like this really bright color that's in here, just to add a little bit of a little pop. I like that a lot. You know, it's like just verging on neon without the neon, because I'm not doing neon ever again. But it's that kind of like brightness. I might even take my finger and just put a little bit of that behind the top lashes. We can just kind of touch up our lip a little bit. You can also go through some of your bigger palettes, and like I found a really nice corally color here that I was going to combine with the pink to give me this kind of look. You can take the color that they're showing, like poppy, you know, this poppy coral that they're showing, that's really this bright orange. And on no planet would this ever look good on me. But if there's enough of the pink in it, I can make it work. You can make it work. If you're still like, no, Michelle, that is stuff that can work for me, then you know what? You can do a whole look of the lilac or a whole look of the seafoam green. You can add a very small element of coral to the look and have that be your bit of poppy coral. Or you can just choose one of the other colors that's in right now and go with the lilac, go with the bronze, go with the other colors, the periwinkles, the seafoam greens. I mean, it looks like an Easter egg hunt now, but these colors in these pastels are showing. This is even more orange. You're almost better finding the one thing that you can find that is the color coral that you can do and going with like one of these other colors. Like you could do a whole blue eye or a whole seafoam green eye and maybe just pop a little something on your cheek of the coral. There are no rules when it comes to makeup. There are suggestions, and sometimes the new products are not the ones that you need. I think experimenting is really fun, but I also think that a lot of us already know that there are certain colors that we just can't wear. And a lot of people feel that way about the orange colors. It's just like a fear that people have. It's like, I don't want to look orange. We made a really pretty monochromatic look. Let's pull you in and take a look. Where we took a couple different corals. I even added some glitter and some shimmer to it, which you do not have to do. And leave it all matte. And I actually liked it all matte. I thought it was really pretty, but having that little bit of sparkle at night never hurt anybody. And this cheek, I think, is beautiful. I like the fact that we have a shine to it. And then also, because it's going to be summer, you're probably going to want to bronze up a little bit. And I did a little bit before I turned on the camera, but now I can really give myself a very suntan look. And look a little bit more summer. Like that. And if you feel like that was too much and you really wanted to go back into the coral, you can do that too. You can have fun with this. And everything at this summer is all about the high blush, the monochromatic look, beachy waves, which is another way of just saying like hair that should probably get washed at some point. But I think that the whole point of today was that you can wear these colors, you can choose these colors, you can pick around your collection and see what's going to work for you. And maybe it's just this little swipe of lippy that, like a lip balm, that works for you. And that's your little nod to the color. There's no one that thinks that you should have to do any of the fad colors that we have. But I think it's fun. And I think that a lot of times anything that new that you would buy clothing-wise would kind of go with whatever the trends are. You know, the living coral was the color of the year. And I'll show that to you from Pantone. So I know that every summer this happens. And that is why when I see it, I'll pick up something that's coral, that leans a little bit pink, that I can pull off on my pink skin tone. Even though this is very warm and I'm very cool, especially with the blush that is not opaque, the different shades of coral on the eye and on the lip to kind of work it into a color that you like, that you can wear, that you feel comfortable with, that you feel pretty in, and that's going to go with all of these cute things that you've bought this summer that have these colors in them. So don't be scared of orange, poppy coral, whatever you want to call it. Give it a try. See if any of these recommendations will work for you. You can also do a very soft peach, just like we did with the Chanel. If the coral doesn't work for you, maybe you can just put on a little bit of a peachy tone of blush. Maybe you have like a peachy tone blush in a cream. Even something pale like that. Now, next to me right now, no. But this could be where you could wind up, where you'd feel more comfortable, and it's just very faded out in the background. You could even take out something like your warm neutrals and just kind of go into like the more peachy colors and just pull those. And instead of coral, you'll be going into peach, and maybe that'll work. But I think the important thing is that it's just makeup. It washes off. Is this my favorite look in the whole entire world to wear? No, it isn't. This isn't my best look. But I am a mauvey plum lover. I'm a cool tone lover. But in the summertime, sometimes you just want to have a pop of fun. And everything about this look to me says fun. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it gives you a feeling like, hey, I can try it too. I think that looking in a monochromatic way at a color is going to be very on trend. I think that pulling in coral, whatever coral that is, that works for you, whether you go from the pinky corals or the orangey corals or the poppy coral that's really poppy orange, there's something for you, something on the color spectrum, something that's going to work. And starting with the lip is the easiest thing to take off, which is why I kind of experimented a little bit. And I know that this lip look works for me because I've had this long enough to know that this is one of my favorite summer glosses from Lisa Eldridge. It just works. Sound off down below. Orange, coral, what scares you? What are you willing to try? What looks good on you? How many of you have beautiful warm skin tones that can take the poppy coral? Or that have a deeper skin tone and the poppy coral shows up differently on you than it does on lighter skin tones? Everybody's going to find their comfort zone, their level of what they can do. You could just do an eyeliner with the coral if you didn't want to do the whole look. You could change the eye to one of the other colors, like I said, with these different pastels that we're doing this year. But I think the important thing to remember is that it's summer. This isn't something to spend a ton of money on. It's kind of like one of those once in a while colors. But that's also why I love these Esum palettes, because they feature so many different color stories. And even though like I'm much more comfortable here than I am here, I just naturally gravitate to these colors. But this is more fall, and this is more summer. Okay, so sound off down below. Do you follow trends? Do you care that poppy coral is a coral that's in right now? Or is the color that's in right now? Hello, I can't talk. Do you follow the trends? Are you buying things that they're showing? Like when Dior comes up with its rosy glow colors, did you pick any of them up? I was super comfortable with the pink lavender, the lilac, the color that was easiest for me to wear. And that's what I bought the most pieces of. This one, I'm not buying any of them because the color did not look good on me and it wasn't going to be something I was comfortable with. But I can shop my stash, figure out some things. If all you have, let's say, is a duo blush, you can do a whole look with this because you can use a clear gloss. You can take some of this, you can make it into a lippy, add some pink to it if you want to. Something like this, where you can see that it's going to like a coral. That's really pretty for the eyes too. Just some ideas. Step outside your comfort zone this summer. Try something in the coral family. Let me know what you think. Maybe you have the best looks of yours are coral. Let us know if that worked for you. Let us know if you picked up Poppy Coral and what it looks like against your skin tone, because I can imagine how beautiful that would be on a very deep skin tone or a very golden skin tone or a very warm skin tone, and how that would really bring that pop of color. And then maybe you'd want to pull it back a little bit for the other part of the look. I totally forgot. I want to take this Natasha Denona Hygiene, I can't remember the name of her, Skincare Induced Glow Beautifier in the shade Light. I'm just taking my finger and just very gently this is going to give the effect of kind of a wet look without the wet. But I saw somebody uses this as their inner corner highlight. I want to see what that looks like. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. And then you could take a tiny bit by the brow and just have that little bit of luminosity. I think that's really pretty, especially in the summertime, because most of the time I'm so hot and sweaty as it is. If I put the glow where I want it to be, maybe it'll be more glowy than my sweaty face. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're thinking about trends, oranges, corals, you name it. What are your favorite summer things to wear? Sound off down below in the comment section. I read all of your comments. You can always DM me on Instagram if you wanted to get any kind of questions answered or swatches. I do recommend that everybody follow me on Instagram. I put all the sales there. I let you know when the new videos come up. I put a lot of fun content on there, try to tag a lot of people, try to show you a lot of the products that you're going to be seeing soon. So if you're not yet following me on Instagram, do so. I'd love to have you over there. It's an all-day thing where I'm constantly adding things. And in the community section of the YouTube, I have been putting a daily question, and it's just like a fun thing to go and see what other people are answering and for you to give your response to it also. I'm loving that. We're getting closer to being able to start the groups and the lives, and just knowing that you're subscribed and sharing my videos and hitting your bell so that you know when I upload. So if you're not yet subscribed here, please consider joining our family. If you are subscribed, please ring the bell so you know when I upload. I try to do about 3 or 4 videos a week, depending on what's going on. Right now, we're having a new roof put on. So I'm filming this late at night. They're going to be pounding again tomorrow, hopefully finishing. We had like terrible rainstorms today. So all the work that they did, we're like not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow, but I do know it's going to be very noisy. We sent my dog to like a play area, like with the daycare, so that he doesn't freak out, because it's loud. And I remember moving into this house and my husband was like, we're not going to have to do this roof for 20 years. We'll be out of here by then. Okay, well, we got to 20 years and here we are, like we're still in the house and we got to put the roof on. So I want to know what you guys think. Are there shades that you are completely afraid of, like I am with orange? I don't think we have to be scared of this, because if this is not next to me, it's coral. If I bring this back, it's coral even, because this is actually orange. Semantics, right? All about the semantics. So what do you guys think? What are you guys wearing this summer? What are the things you're looking forward to picking up? Is there anything in this coral family? This would be my recommendation for most of you. This Go Lightly from Lisa Eldridge. I think it's just a really good gloss, and you can share it out, and it really does kind of morph into like two different colors. And then if you want to do a lipstick, I would say that Dance Card really is a really easy coral to wear because it's got a lot of pink in it. And then I would say between the RMS, I would say this is going to look far more orange next to it. You have to see, you know, where you're comfortable. And if you go and you hold these things up in a store, or even putting them on your hand and holding them up, you're going to know right away what is not going to be for you. I picked up a bunch of the eyeshadows, well, not a bunch, but a decent amount, I think 3 or 4 of the new Chanel singles. I'm going to be doing a video on that. I'm going to be talking a little bit about, I've been trying out a new skincare, it's new to me skincare, not that, well, it's pretty new to the world too. A really affordable line, which is not exactly what I've used before. My skincare tends to be the biggest part of my budget every time I go to buy things that are for beauty. I'm always skin first, makeup second. But this skincare is really kind of knocking my socks off, and it's also kind of jarring me a little bit on the beliefs that I've had and the things that I think of when I think about skincare. And I want to share that with you too. So we have a lot of good stuff coming up. When they're done with my roof, I won't film late at night. We'll have some really beautiful sunlight again. I have all of the new Phytosurgence eyeshadows and the new and improved formula that I want to share with you also. So we're going to be doing swatches and a look. So we have lots of good videos coming up, and I'm noticing that there isn't a whole lot of makeup coming out right now. And the one thing I keep expecting to see is RMS. Like, are they going to add some bronzer colors to what they had last year? I'm really hoping there's something cooler coming. And even some new eyeshadows would be fun. Who else has not put anything out yet? I was thinking maybe Prada will come out with some new shades. So we'll have to wait and see who's doing summer. Feeling very summer beachy. And after seeing the Met Ball last night, seeing all of the different monochromatic looks and a lot of those beachy waves, I think we kind of all are feeling the trends. And again, this will be like this until Memorial Day. And as soon as Memorial Day is over, they're going to kick out all this product and start bringing in fall. So just keep it in mind that I know we haven't had summer yet, and I am not rushing it to get out of the summer in any way, shape, or form right now. I want the whole summer. I want it to be really long and delightful. But in the makeup world and the fashion world, it will change. And if there's stuff that you want, it's probably going to go on sale after or on Memorial Day. So I'm going to be looking out for those sales and to see what's coming for fall. I have no idea, but if I can do coral, I can figure out the rest. And I like the fact that there were 3 choices, 4 choices, 5 choices of colors. But knowing that the Pantone color was coral, I knew it was going to be coming this year. Just didn't realize how orange it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be more coral. Oh well, and we made it work. I know you can make it work too. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you all very soon. Mwah. Take care. Bye.